Hello everybody, Storm here. Welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4 Old World Blues. In the last episode, we've been working on our focuses to rebuild our nation. And we're almost done this tree. And so then we're probably going to swing back to the Department of Defense because there's been some changes over here. I'm not exactly sure why, but we'll go ahead and clean up the Department of Defense a little bit. We need to work on the Department of the Navy. Now that we actually have a Navy. In fact, I probably need to design a ship, so we're going to work on that. We have our forces on the border. Wow, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing. That can't be right. No. There's guys there. I don't know why they're not displaying. Oh, are we in the wrong mode? No. Awfully strange. Huh. All right, and we've also been working on the these decisions here, so we'll see where those go. All right, begin again. Since the Enclave has become an established government, we've been restrained by the wasteland economy. However, there are rumors of a hidden casino off in the mountains of the Mojave that contain riches beyond anyone's belief, backed by a strange radio signal to begin again at Sierra Madre. Unfathomable riches are what we could most effectively use to our own gain. However, everyone who ever ventured there has never returned. Followers, prospectors, NCR Army and Rangers, even a Brotherhood assassin has gone missing venturing to that forbidden place. It's a great risk, one we can easily prepare for with the might of the U.S. Army, plus the benefit of a separate pre-war casino could make the Wastelanders forget their woes for a while and take some power away from New Vegas. Does not start the Sierra Madre chain. Boring. Okay. Fair enough. Alright. Section 1, Article 2 of the United States Constitution. With the capital expedition returning from the East Coast, their prize was the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Preserved and having survived 200 years. It's a good thing the Enclave didn't bring it aboard the rig, otherwise he might have lost it forever. Which is just as well. Seeing how the Enclave deviated so hard from the Founding Fathers' vision. However, as Granite read the Constitution, probably the first president in 200 years to do so, he discovered something. According to Section 1 of Article 2, the time of taking office of the president, one must be a natural-born citizen, a resident of 14 years, and be 35 years of age. Granite was born in 2243, 9 months after the rig went down. When he assumed office, he was 32. By the highest law of the land, he was not eligible to be president. In fact, his entire presidency might very well be illegal. Most, however, when realizing this discrepancy, decided that, due to the extraordinary circumstances of the time, such a thing could be overlooked. Further, by now he is old enough, so what does it matter? There wasn't anyone foolish enough to question Granite on the matter. Excess legitimacy converted to base stability. Well, if you turn 2 upside down, it kind of looks like a 5. Yeah, I'll take the base stability. Alright, let's work on a ship design. So we did the Enclave class heavy battle barge. I'm going to do the medium patrol ship. Let's see. Yeah, we want. We're going to worry about weapons later. Radar arrays. We're going to go reinforced hide. This is going to be a point defense module. This is going to be visual data feeds. Composite RAM. Additional radar arrays. Did that actually provide anything? Yeah. Okay, so for deck weapons, I want medium deck weapons. 57mm revolver cannons. And for these, we're going to go with light deck weapons, 37mm twin mount guns. Yep, we can't afford to make this design. This is going to be, I guess, the new Reno class. There we go. Yeah. Shouldn't this be light patrol boats? That should be light patrol boats. Alright, they are undergoing repairs. Not a case of green thumb. Oh yeah, one of our scientists was trying to repair the elevator when he was ambushed by a spore carrier that was sleeping in some plants nearby. His suit was breached and he suffered severe lacerations to his leg and arm before a soldier arrived and burned the spore carrier. He was rapidly evacuated to one of our medical centers, but we don't think he was infected with the spores. We can't be sure. Security has been doubled and the officer in charge has instructed his troops to burn areas of plant overgrowth. The other members of the science team is confident that they can get the old oxygen recycling systems working to spread the defoliant. All right. Something goofy's going on here. Oh, there is actually one thing that I need to do. Yeah, there's something broken. Improves synchrometric radar. Get that going before we have an alert. This is not going to let me do... Formate... No, it's not. Very weird. Something is broken. Alright, well, we'll just push through it. Now, for the longest time, Coleus and the EPA had been shoved to the side as tree huggers for the more military-focused operations. It did not help that Coleus's former rank before becoming director was a lieutenant in the army. That was behind him. Since return to California, the Enclave had inherited environmental problems in California as well. Poor soil, irradiated water, mutant invasive species, all of which the Environmental Protection Agency was designed to combat and prevent. Thus, when Coleus put forward his proposal, Granite accepted it only because he seemed to be the only one who knew what to do at that exact moment in time. In fact, a few of the officers in the room were perplexed that Coleus even got his approval. Regardless, Coleus set forth to restore the EPA to its pre-war potential. In the first place he had his sights on were the old EPA officers in Northern California. The Gek project. And there's apparently a decision. Should probably fire all those up. Power already grids. EPA offices expedition. Go ahead and fire that off. Reaching for the stars. President Granite, there's a Securitron outside your door, and it's got Mr. House's picture on it. Not the cowboy, Mr. House himself. He wants to speak to you about something important. It's in regards to the Reinstated Space Administration. Very well. Mr. President, while I typically loathe working with governments of any kind, you have proven resourceful beyond even my means. In just a few years, you have done what the NCR only dreamed of. The Legion failed to realize, Brotherhood could never achieve, and more than I have in 200 years. For that, you have my respect. What I'm offering you is a ground floor opportunity in the most important undertaking on Earth, to shake the bonds of this planet and spread out among the stars. What I thought would take me 50 years, we can achieve in just a few months. In a few years, we could have a lunar colony. In a decade, a Martian colony. American colony ships searching for new frontiers. You have Bloomfield, and I have Repcon Aerospace. What I'm offering America is a future among the stars. Half the continent is still tribal. Let's do it. Alright, restart the Space Administration. Alright, fourth wall break here. This is just a test run of this whole space thing. Okay, so that's basically not... Delta X. It seems Mr. House has not been idle despite losing his rockets. Repcon, he's brought forth designs for the Delta X, an upgrade to our pre-warned Delta 9 rocket ICBM. The model comes with a larger crew module, better engines and safety features, and a suite of electronics and systems that far outclass its predecessor. Further, it's all buildable quite easily using post-war industrial techniques, which Mr. House lacks, but we do not. We can begin production immediately. Alright. That is a uncompleted function, so we'll see what it actually does for the moment. Alright, jet engine research is now complete. Let's get jet fighters going. Jet attack planes. Jet bombers. We have Dreamlifters, so... In fact, we're actually building them. Let's go with flying armor. I guess we might as well unlock all of this. The Republic of Mexico is justifying against us. It was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time. All right. That means is that every army that we have needs to begin preparations. That is because they finally finished off these guys, or that war finally ended. Is an Enclave protectorate of the United States. Ah, that's because we brought that in as a protectorate. Alright, let's see here. Robco, General Atomics. Alright, let's fire off. A few of those. Where's 100,000 NCR dollars? How many NCR dollars do we have? We have 10 million. 10 million NCR dollars. I think we can spare 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So what, 12? 1.2 million? Yeah. In 60 days. Let's see. Does anybody that borders foragers? Do we see claim jumpers in here? No. Circle Junction? No. Ciphers. We're pressuring ciphers. Heaven's Gate? No. Marshall Republic? No, I think that is the only one that borders the Mexican Republic of Mexico. We are about to be in a big ol' nasty war. Alright, so this army actually needs to move. Do we know how long it's going to take them? 26th of May. 26th of May, 2289. No, yeah, that would be next year. Okay, we got a few months. Director Coleus has come forward, having gathered enough men and equipment to venture to the EPA regional offices north of Sac City. There's also the matter that on many maps the offices weren't listed. In fact, most of the references to the offices were listed as the zoo in NCR records and caravan maps. Since he was looking for offices and not a zoo, it is quite the surprise when he found an old pre-war map with the EPA officers crossed out and relabeled the zoo. Regardless, it was probably nothing, and as he and his convoy set out for the offices, even a flyover of vertebrates depicted nothing out of the ordinary, and his requisitioned something. He found out why it was called the zoo. Arriving at the offices, he passed an abandoned NCR army blockade that surrounded the site. Arriving at the parking lot, the place was a literal jungle, complete with spore plants and half-eaten remains of NCR troopers and rangers that had been trapped by the carnivorous vegetation. Demo teams armed with flamethrowers were put to work clearing the site, but this was outside the building. What the hell was inside? Coleus has set up shop in the parking lot and is requesting additional reinforcements. Approaching Sierra Madre. Our expedition was made up of scavengers, follower scientists, a few caravan guides, government archaeologists, and a heavy contingent of the U.S. Army. Vertibird flyovers pinpointed the exact location based on caravan maps. An old brochure we found. Reports from the pilots reported a strange orange cloud that seems to be emanating from the resort. As our expedition approached by foot, they encountered the cloud, which rapidly corroded and destroyed a Protectron scout we sent in to analyze the cloud. A soldier in our advanced power armor was almost lost when he entered to collect a sample, and he had to be cut out of his armor. Thankfully, he succeeded in his mission, but had to be sent via air evac to New Vegas for treatment. A base camp has been set up, and a sample of the gas cloud has been sent to Sierra Depot for testing. That's weird. Alright, we now know why it was called the zoo. To say Director Coleus was disturbed was an understatement. Venturing further into the EPA campus, our troops pushed into the garage, only to find a series of robots attending to what they claimed was a petting zoo filled with people. Whatever programming in those robots failed to recognize that power armored troops were also humans, because when a medic was called up, they tried to put her back in the exhibit. After promptly scrapping the robots, those on display were attended to, having been kept alive and docile by strange nutrient paste of pre-war origin. While kept alive, they were apparently hungry and attacked the medical staff, attempting to help them by trying to eat the medical staff. The very hungry humans were subdued by our power armored troops, and the rest locked back up. A humanitarian crisis had been declared, and the followers were called in and were just as horrified. It's a wonder these people didn't eat themselves. However, the followers have dealt with cannibals before and are going to be slowly easing these people back onto food. Coleus has doubled down on his request for reinforcements. The army granted request. Alright. All forces, let's get ourselves some orders. So we begin building planning bonuses.
This is Enclave Maincom. This is Enclave Maincom. This is Enclave Maincom. Enclave here. This is Enclave Maincom. This is Enclave Maincom. This is Enclave Maincom. Enclave here.
Yeah, we just need to give them general orders to assault.
Enclave here.
Oh yeah, this little army. We're still working on training people out there.
This is Enclave Maincom. Enclave here.
Yeah, but you also have this. And that.
This is Enclave Maincom.
Right, that's on that flank. Yeah, push through there.
Enclave here.
No, I don't. That is annoying. That is annoying. Very well. Well, we'll deal with it later.
Enclave here. This is Enclave Maincom.
There. Okay. And make sure that everybody is set to aggressive.
Enclave here.
You are not. Set you to aggressive.
Enclave here. Enclave here. Enclave here. Enclave here. This is Enclave main comm. Enclave here.
There we go. Seymour versus Agent Orange. The lead scientist of the Vault 22 project has informed us that she and her team have got the recycling systems working and are starting to pump the defoliant through the vault. In other news, soldiers made an assault on the 3rd floor, burning out much of the space and spore carriers down there. The commander has noted that their filters are requiring less change, meaning our efforts at torching the place are reducing the level of spores infesting the vault. After a rest and refit, he plans on leading an assault on the 4th level of the vault, hoping by then the defoliant has done its job. Where do we find a 300-year-old defoliant? Alright. Lockreed, hello America, this is your president speaking. Do you remember airplanes or jet planes? Maybe some remember the sight of vertibirds flying across the skies when the Enclave first returned to America's shores. I'm sure very few do. And I'm sure even fewer know that America was the birthplace of flight. Yes, right here in America, the Wright brothers took their Wright flyer for the first time succeeded in heavier-than-air flight. Of course, with the Great War, it was thought those days were long gone, but what if I told you the United States government has sponsored a school in Dayglow at the Lockreed Aeronautics Advanced Development Center, also known as Skunk Works. Lockreed is accepting anyone with a knowledge of mechanical and technical know-how to train the next generation of American flight engineers for free. Food and housing are available on site, and family accommodations can be arranged. Soon, America, we shall return to the skies above just as before. Air superiority plus 5%, bad weather penalty, minus 20% energy cell per gain per energy. Sounds good. And we got all of our... Wow. We just get all that for free. Alright, work on advanced power systems. Work on a maritime jet fighter. Work on a light jet fighter. Outdated equipment production. Rotary engine bomber. We can now make jet bombers. Monoplane fighters. We can now make jet fighters. And monoplane attackers. We can now make jet attack planes. And we are way short on composite materials. We're gonna have to see about that. Let's see. Composite materials. I don't think we need this many sentry bots being produced. We're gonna cut that production down. Yeah, cut that down a little bit. We have 20,000 of them. We should be okay there. Alright, Venus Mantrap. Director Coleus has been directing the now company of soldiers under his command and clearing out the rest of the surface of the EPA. One of the interesting things he discovered are Venus Mantrap, strange carnivorous plants that have been discovered to be the death of more than one scavenger and plenty of NCR troopers. Thankfully, power armor and flamers are enough to remove them. That isn't to say this is still the most bizarrely horrifying place we've come across. Out behind the offices was a park, and by park we mean it was a park. It was filled with the remains of NCR Rangers that our soldiers promptly torched. There's also a greenhouse. Well, was a greenhouse, but that was ordered leveled via airstrike. Whatever was inside is now a crater. Coleus wanted to move into the offices, but was delayed by an infestation of mantises and rad scorpions in the ventilation shafts, who nearly ate 3 members of the EPA who walked inside to hide from the airstrike. Thinking on his feet, Director Coleus called in the Slanter, who were more than happy to hunt through the ventilation shafts, and are currently enjoying a buffet of roasted rad scorpion and sauteed mantis, even if Coleus was a bit weirded out by the sentient raccoons. Alright, all that's left are the bugs. The assault team made its way down to level 4 common areas, immediately reporting that the defoliant did its job. Much of the plant life is dead and decaying. With what little is left, they are happily burning up. They are coming across possibly a dozen spore carrier remains, all dead by the defoliant, and have unceremoniously burned the bodies. The only real threat comes from the great mantises that populate the lower ends of the vault. Hardly a problem for power-armored soldiers. The science team has moved down and set up in the old vault overseer's office and have begun taking air sample readings to determine when it's safe to breathe in the vault. It's a promising update. The injured scientist has returned to duty, thankfully not being infected or injured, and is ready to get to work. Alright, I want to be in a Cavalry. With the EPA's genetic breeding program with horses, the Army has taken a keen interest in domesticated animal of legend. When compared to vertebrates or vehicles, horses provide the unique ability to be silent when moving on the wasteland at the same speed. They are also easier to maintain, only needing a source of water and local vegetation to stay mobile. And a trained soldier can easily handle a horse in combat. All this leads to the Army wanting to restore the old Cavalry Corps. It has begun its own breeding program and is laying out training manuals for cavalry operations in the wasteland. We add horsemen. Horses. Horses 2. Horses. Alright, horses. Although there are about 8 million horses in pre-war America, they all died out due to the Great War, nuclear winter, and hungry survivors. Now the EPA wants to use genetic engineering to revive horses and other large mammals rather than engineering death claws with laser guns. Great. Now give them lasers. Alright. Sublevel Red. One of the big questions on Director Coleus' mind is, if the surface was so bad, how horrifying is the interior? He got his answer when he arrived at Sublevel Red. The entire place was laid out like a public atrium, complete with reception, information, and a museum. They were led around by a pre-war hologram named Hologram 40011. However, that was where the normalcy ended. 4011 showed them to a public execution chamber, an ammo depot. And since Coleus is the director of the EPA, she introduced him to the board of directors for the EPA, all of whom are a series of advanced pre-war holograms, courtesy of Big MT, it seems. First to be met was hologram 10031, director of ground maintenance, who upon recognizing Coleus as a member of the government, promptly dressed Coleus down for the destruction on the surface, stating that since his department of ground maintenance has operated at 100% efficiency for over 200 years, Coleus has set the EPA back several thousand years of work and effort. After recovering from the verbal assault of the hologram, Coleus introduced himself as the director of the EPA and was promptly apologized to by the hologram director. Coleus was then introduced to the other directors. He's included Director of Science, hologram 00000, who only spoke in binary, the Director of Security hologram 10001, who demanded that Coleus destroy everything in the EPA, and launched into a tirade when he was told that was never going to happen. Lastly was hologram 12001, Director of Operations, who Coleus got so fed up with that he fired 12001 on the spot because he couldn't get a straight answer out of him. Unfortunately, 12001 is hardwired into the facility, so in order to fire him, he had to be destroyed outright. Thankfully, one of our robotics members managed to repair hologram 00000. The hologram has given Director Coleus full access to the facility. Verticolius has put in requisitions for a cask of Old Royale whiskey to be flown out. After reading that report, the request has been granted. Alright. Alright, that's all done. Let's get to work on the Department of the Navy. Alright, I think what we're just going to have to do with the Navy at this point is just make task forces. Zach's technology. Oh yeah, and that thing is still in the way and won't go away because it's broken. Alright, well, so be it. Tactical Destructor. Flying armor is complete. The Cloud. The Chemical Corps has been studying the poison cloud that permeates Sierra Madre. It's horrifically corrosive, self-replicating, and toxic to the skin and lungs. It preserves dead flesh, seems to have mutagenic properties, and why it was in a pre-war casino resort, we have no idea. Pretty standard for pre-war America, though. As for a weakness, it seems resistant to everything conventional we've thrown at it. We can incinerate it, but it only at incredibly high temperatures. It leaves behind a residue we then have to dissolve in acid. Cryogenics, however, seems to have the best effect, freezing the particles and causing them to fall to the ground. While this doesn't neutralize it, it does allow us to collect it for acid disposal. This may be our only chance to pierce this cloud and find the sources of this strange cloud. From there it can be frozen, dissolved, and hopefully forgotten about. Alright. I'm resisting the urge to do an ice pun here. Alright, so flying armor complete. We need to get the rest of this done before we can do flying fortresses and super fortresses. Alright, well then work on something else. Alright, but I think that's where we're going to go ahead and stop. We're going to be at war with the Republic of Mexico here very soon. Hopefully, I have prepared sufficiently. We're probably going to need to get aircraft set up on all those fronts. So yeah, that is going to be probably the next project. We need to make sure that the Navy, at least such as it is in place. Actually, we probably want to split that. We're just going to have to basically not go with any kind of set designs for the actual fleets. We're just going to have to send out everything we've got. Very well. Alright, but for now, we'll stop here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.